Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. The bathroom floor wasn't clean, but it caught her tears. The bathroom floor was ice cold, but Jasmine didn't notice. Not really. Her cheek pressed against the stained tiles, the sting of blood in her mouth mixed with the smell of bleach and old. Water. She didn't make a sound. That part was important. If she made a sound, they'd feel like they'd won, and Jasmine had already decided something right there on the floor. They would not win, even if it killed her. "Stupid cow," Chelsea sneered. She always spoke with that pinched, sharp tone, the kind rich girls use when they're used to people obeying. "Look at her. She thinks she's too good for us. You're not better than us, Jasmine. You'll never be better." Another kick landed, this time in her stomach. Jasmine didn't flinch, didn't react. She just stared at the crack in the tile. There was something carved into it, just a jagged line of words. They laughed. Until they didn't. That sentence would stay in her mind long after the girls walked away. 2 months earlier, Jasmine had been someone else. Not different in body, but in spirit. Back in her old school, she had one real friend, Amira, a loud, brilliant, unapologetically nerdy girl who talked like she was quoting books in her sleep. They were polar opposites. Amira was fire, Jasmine was quiet snow. But somehow, they worked. Until Jasmine's mother announced the move. Better neighborhood. Better school, she'd said. As if moving to a rich suburb could scrub out the past. Except the past wasn't the problem, it was the present that broke her. At Maple Heights High, Jasmine stuck out before she even walked in. She didn't dress like the other girls. Her jeans were too plain, her shoes second-hand. Her hair natural, something that seemed to offend the other girls immediately. Chelsea noticed her the first week. She always noticed people who didn't fit. It started with snickers, then fake compliments. "Love your shirt. I think my grandma has one just like it." Jasmine ignored them. Then came the rumors that Jasmine had lice, that she was adopted from a poor country, that she was mute because she'd been in a mental institution. The truth. None of them even knew her. Not even her teachers, who never asked why she barely spoke or why her test scores jumped from B's to A+ in weeks. She was invisible. Until she wasn't. The bathroom ambush wasn't random. It had been scheduled. Tara, always. Filming had posted a cryptic story the night before. "Watch this space tomorrow. Something juicy's coming." New girl who? Over 2,000 people viewed it. Only a few messaged her directly. One boy wrote, "Run tomorrow. Just trust me." She hadn't even opened it until later that night. But it was too late. That morning, Jasmine went to the bathroom before second period. The lights flickered. Someone had jammed the door so it wouldn't open from the outside. She should have known, but she was tired. So tired of pretending not to hear the laughter, the whispers, the silence at lunch tables when she sat down. She didn't expect Chelsea. "And her wolves to be waiting. You know what your problem is," Kenzie said, twirling a pink scrunchie like it was a weapon. "You don't play the game. You act like the rules don't apply to you." "Yeah," Tara added, already filming. "Like you're the main character or something. Well, guess what? You're not." They shoved her once, twice. She stumbled back, hit the sink. Her lip cracked open on porcelain. Blood dripped onto the floor. None of them flinched. In fact, Tara zoomed in. Click, one more video added to the collection. After they left, Jasmine sat alone for nearly 20 minutes. Her head throbbed. Her ribs ached, but her eyes stayed dry. This wasn't her first beating, not even her worst. Back in grade 7, a boy had pulled out chunks of her hair in class. The teacher had said, "He just likes you." That was the first time she learned that being quiet didn't keep you safe, but maybe silence could be a shield. If she let it harden, if she wore it well enough, maybe no one would see the cracks inside her, until now. She limped to the nurse's office, claimed she slipped in the hallway. The nurse barely looked up. "These floors are slippery. Try walking more carefully next time. No report." No questions, just an ice pack and a note to excuse her from gym. By fourth period, the video was everywhere. Tara had edited it like a music video, slow motion, meme captions, a rap beat overlaid. Jasmine's swollen face became a joke. By lunch, even the teachers knew, but they said nothing. No one ever said anything, except for one person. At 3:45 p.m., just as she was leaving, Jasmine heard someone call out, "Hey!" She turned. It was a boy, tall, black hoodie, eyes hidden behind thick curls. "I messaged you last night," he said. "You didn't see?" She stared. He pulled out his phone, showed her the message again, the one that said, "Run tomorrow. Just trust me." "Why would you warn me?" she asked. He hesitated, then said, "Because I know what they do." He glanced around. "They're not just mean, they're messed up." Before she could respond, he added, "Check the school network. Public library computers have access to the school cloud. You'll see what I mean." And then he was gone. That night, Jasmine did exactly what he said. She couldn't log into her school email at home. Too many firewalls. But she went to the public library 2 towns over, used a library PC, and typed in the credentials she'd memorized during class. What she found nearly made her vomit. There was a folder, shared between Chelsea, Tara, Kenzie, and at least 4 other students. The folder was called Laugh Files. Inside, videos, dozens of them. Different girls, some younger, some crying. Some half-naked, covered in paint, lipstick smeared across their faces. One was from 3 years ago. A girl Jasmine didn't recognize, slumped against a wall, motionless. No context, no timestamp. The video ended with Chelsea laughing. "She's not gonna say anything. None of them ever do." Jasmine's hands shook as she clicked file after file. This wasn't bullying. This was ritual abuse. Some kind of sick hazing system hidden beneath school spirit and PTA fundraisers. And the worst part, no one had ever stopped them. She downloaded everything, all of it, onto a small flash drive she kept in her coat for emergencies. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about justice and survival. The next morning, Jasmine walked into school like nothing happened. Her bruises were hidden under makeup. Her lip, split but healing, masked by a band-aid. No one suspected anything, but Jasmine, she was done hiding. Cliffhanger as the bell rang for first period, Jasmine slipped the drive into the principal's mailbox and another into the school board. Dropbox, but she kept a copy for herself, just in case, because deep down Jasmine knew something. Monsters don't die easy, they fight back, but this time she would be ready, and she wouldn't be alone. Not anymore. The drive was just the start. They were more dangerous than she knew. Jasmine didn't sleep that night, even after uploading the videos to multiple encrypted drives and mailing anonymous copies to the school board. Something inside her stayed, alert, like an alarm that refused to shut off. What she had now wasn't just proof. It was a loaded weapon, and she knew the people she was up against wouldn't go down quietly. She just didn't expect them to strike back so soon. The first threat came by locker, a folded note, no envelope, no name, no signature, just 6 chilling words scrawled in red Sharpie: "Delete it, or you'll disappear next." She froze. Around her, the hallway buzzed with the usual morning chaos. Kids laughing, lockers slamming, teachers corralling stragglers. To class. But in Jasmine's world, everything went silent. Her fingers trembled slightly as she tucked the note into her pocket. Not out of fear, but to preserve it. If she was going down, she was taking receipts with her. By third period, her phone was hacked. It didn't vibrate, didn't ring. It just restarted on its own and displayed a weird message when it powered. "Back on, you're being watched." She powered it off for good. Whatever they had access to now, they wouldn't get more. Jasmine wasn't stupid. She knew this wasn't just high school bullying anymore. This was a cover-up. Someone had noticed the breach. She caught a glimpse of Chelsea during lunch, laughing with a group of students like nothing had happened. Tara was beside her, acting like a celebrity, flipping her fake blonde hair as juniors leaned in for gossip. Kenzie sat on the edge, chewing gum like it was power. They didn't look worried. That was the most terrifying part. They were either clueless about the files being exposed or confident she wouldn't dare push further. Both possibilities were dangerous. After school, she met the boy from yesterday behind the gym. He introduced himself this time. Zay, just Zay. No last name, no details. But she knew not to ask. "What did you find?" he asked. She hesitated. "More than I wanted to." He nodded like he expected that, then pulled out a flash drive from his jacket pocket. "You're not the first." She blinked. "What?" "There was a girl 2 years ago, a freshman. She tried to speak out about them. Same folder, same setup, same girls." "What happened to her?" Zay's jaw tightened. "She disappeared." Jasmine's stomach dropped. "You mean like transferred?" "No, disappeared. As in never seen again. Cops said she ran away, but her parents didn't buy it." Jasmine clutched the edge of the bench they were sitting on. Her nails dug into the wood. He continued, "She had videos, like you. She made noise, and then, poof, vanished. No goodbye. No trace, nothing," Jasmine swallowed. "Do you think they—" "I think they had help," Zay said darkly. "From people higher up." "You mean the school?" He looked away. "Maybe more." That night, Jasmine received her second message, not a note this time. A dead bird, left inside her backpack, stuffed between her books, blood still warm. No one saw who did it. She opened her locker. Everything was perfectly in place. Opened her backpack. There it was, a robin, small, neck broken cleanly. She dropped the bag and ran to the bathroom before she threw up. Her mum noticed something was off during dinner. "You're quiet," she said gently. Jasmine stared at her rice. "I'm always quiet." Her mum didn't push, but her eyes held concern. "Just keep your head down, okay? This school's not like the others." That phrase again. Keep your head down, as if survival came from silence. Jasmine wanted to scream. Silence was what let monsters grow. She stood up. "I'm not hungry." Back in her room, Jasmine finally opened her burner email and sent a message to districtboardtips@protonmail.com. Subject, urgent evidence, Maple Heights. High attached are files of serious abuse, misconduct, and criminal behavior occurring on school grounds by a group of students protected by staff. If this is ignored, I will go public. You have 48 hours. She attached the cloud folder, compressed, encrypted, backed up in 3 locations. Then she clicked send. The power flickered in her room. For a split second she thought it was just the wind, but outside, a black car sat parked across the street. No lights, no driver visible. It didn't move, not for hours. The next morning, a student Jasmine didn't know pulled her aside. Sophomore, glasses, shaky hands. "I saw your name on the burn list," she whispered. "They're saying you're next." Jasmine furrowed her brow. "Burn list? It's like a ranking," the girl stammered, "of who they're going to humiliate next, or hurt, or cancel. They use a fake student profile on Snapgram. Invite only." "How do you know?" "I was on it," the girl said. 2 months ago. They posted my secrets, my photos. I had to transfer schools." She leaned in. "Be careful. They don't just bully, they erase people." That afternoon, Jasmine found the list. It was hidden inside a locked group with a fake name. Study Tips Weekly. Of course, it wasn't about studying. The pinned post was a poll. Next to go down, who's it gonna be? Jasmine, Miss Taylor, the counselor, some freshman named Nia, all 3. People were voting, laughing, commenting. She recognized at least 15 student usernames. Some were kids who had smiled at her in the hall. One was a teacher's assistant. The post had over 300 votes. Jasmine was winning. The worst part, She wasn't scared anymore. She was furious. They had mocked her silence, violated her privacy, spread lies, and now were playing games with her life. She was done hiding, so she went to the one person who hated Chelsea more than anyone, Miss Taylor, the school counselor. Miss Taylor was young, mid-30s maybe, black, sharp-witted, and always dressed like she had somewhere better to be. Students liked her. Some feared her. Admins tolerated her. She greeted Jasmine with raised brows. "You don't usually come here. I need to show you something," Jasmine said, pulling out the flash drive. Miss Taylor closed the door behind her, locked it, and for the next 20 minutes, Jasmine told her everything: the videos, the threats, the burn list, the missing girl. Miss Taylor didn't interrupt, didn't blink. When Jasmine was done, she simply said, "You have no idea how long I've waited for someone like you." She opened her drawer and pulled out a red notebook. Inside were names, dates, incidents, complaints that were buried. Teachers who looked the way, students who dropped out mysteriously after crossing paths with the group. "There's a pattern," Miss Taylor said. "Every 2 years, one girl disappears. Not always literally, sometimes just broken enough to vanish emotionally." She turned to Jasmine. "But you're different. You didn't break." "No," Jasmine whispered. "I got mad." Cliffhanger. Miss Taylor handed her a burner phone. "I need you to keep this with you. If anything happens, anything at all, you call me, you record everything." "Why?" "Because once they realize you're not scared, they'll change tactics." "What tactics?" Miss Taylor's eyes darkened. "They won't just threaten you. They'll try to make the world believe you are the monster." They turned the whole school against her, but she had a secret. The rumors started the next morning, fast, vicious, and everywhere. It began with whispers in the halls. Then the glares started. Lockers slammed louder when she passed. Even teachers looked away. By lunch, she was trending on the school's private Snapgram page under the hashtag #Jasmine. The Psycho A student had leaked fake screenshots of Jasmine threatening to bring a knife to school. Another had posted a doctored audio clip, her voice warped to sound unhinged. "I'll burn this place down. You'll see." None of it was real, but that didn't matter. The school believed it. Miss Taylor pulled her from class by third period. "They're moving fast," she said under her breath. Jasmine nodded stiffly. "They're trying to discredit me." "They're not trying. They already have." In the counselor's office, Jasmine scrolled through the hate flooding her phone, her real one, not the burner. Death threats, DMs calling her a freak, memes mocking her braids, her face, her weight. Someone had even made a countdown. Days. Until Jasmine snaps, T-4. Miss Taylor handed her tissues, but Jasmine didn't cry. "I expected this," she whispered. "They want me isolated." Miss Taylor studied her. "You're scared." Jasmine shook her head. "No, I'm ready." That afternoon, the school board responded to Jasmine's email, but it wasn't what she expected. Tip submission regarding Maple Heights. Thank you for your concern. We have opened an internal inquiry. Please refrain from further distribution of unverified materials, as they may constitute defamation. Continued submission of such files will result in legal action. Jasmine stared at the screen. Legal action. They were threatening her, not Chelsea, not the girls who tortured students. Miss Taylor took one look at the message and scoffed. Classic play, make the whistleblower the villain. So they're not going to help? No, but now you know the truth. What truth? Miss Taylor's voice dropped. You're not just fighting students anymore. You're fighting a system that protects them. The next attack was personal. She came home to find her mom crying in the kitchen. What's wrong? Her mom turned the laptop toward her. On the screen, a fake blog. Exclusive. New girl's dark past. Jasmine suspended from last school for violence. Photoshopped mugshots. Fake interviews. Even a video. clearly edited, of a girl that looked like Jasmine fighting in a stairwell. Her mom's voice shook. "Why didn't you tell me?" Jasmine nearly screamed. "Because it's not true." "I want to believe you," her mom said, tears in her eyes. "But this is a lot, Jasmine. Are you sure you're not hiding anything?" That broke her. They were so good at lying, even her own mother doubted her. She called Zay that night, hands shaking. "I can't do this," she whispered into the phone. "You have to," he said calmly. "They turned everyone against me, even my mom." "Then let them," he said. "Let them push you to the edge, because when you come back from it, that's when they fall." 2 days later, Jasmine walked into school with her shoulders back and head high. She didn't flinch when students whispered, didn't react when someone threw a milk carton at her. She just walked, straight to the library, to the underground archive. Miss Taylor had told her about it. A basement level, rarely used, filled with years of forgotten files and student records. She needed proof, not just of Chelsea's bullying, but of how many people the school had let fall. She spent hours down there. Dust in her lungs, light flickering overhead. She flipped through complaint forms, sealed reports, accident slips that read like stories of horror, names she didn't know, faces that were now gone. One file stood out. Danica Reyes, age 14, reported. Abuse, vanished 2 weeks later, case marked inconclusive. Attached to the report, a printed photo. 3 girls circled in red pen. Chelsea, Tara, Kenzie. Same trio, same pattern, same silence. But the part that chilled her. A handwritten note at the bottom, initialed by the vice principal. Handle internally. No need for escalation. When Jasmine came back upstairs, her name was on the intercom. "Please report to the principal's office." She felt a cold spike of fear shoot through her. In the office, the air was too quiet. Mr. Rayner, the principal, sat behind his massive desk like a judge. His tie was too tight, his smile too polished. He gestured for her to sit. "We've been informed you've been spreading false, damaging information about other students and staff." "I've shared the truth," Jasmine replied calmly. "Where did you get this material?" "I'm not answering that." He leaned forward. "You could be expelled. I figured that was coming." Silence. Then a strange smile spread across his face. "You don't understand, Jasmine. This isn't about right or wrong. It's about control, and you're losing it." She stood. "No, you are." That night she made her move. She leaked the burn list publicly. No filters, no anonymous accounts. She posted it on her own page with one caption: "They picked who to ruin next." "How long were you going to stay silent?" It exploded. Parents saw it, teachers, local reporters. Within 24 hours, it hit the local news. Anonymous burn list targets students at Maple Heights High. The school tried to deny it, said it was fake, but it was too late. Screenshots flooded Twitter. A former student came forward live on air to say it had been around for years. Then a second girl came forward, then a third. By the end of the week, Jasmine was suspended, pending investigation, but she didn't care, because by then she had already sent everything to the press: the drive, the files, the photos, the audio clips, the student records from the basement. Miss Taylor made sure the reporter was legit, and when the story broke, it didn't hold back. Systematic abuse and targeting at Maple Heights. How a school ignored its most vulnerable. Jasmine's face was blurred, her name protected. But the rest? Unfiltered, unforgiving, and unstoppable. Cliffhanger. Chelsea walked into school that Friday to find a crowd waiting. Reporters, to parents, police. The moment she stepped out of her car, someone shouted, "Chelsea, where's Danica Reyes?" She froze. For the first time in her life, the world wasn't on her side, and Jasmine, she watched from across the street, silent but smiling because she wasn't done yet. Buried truths and a name. They all pretended to forget. The story hit the national circuit in 3 days. What started as a local investigation spiraled into a media firestorm. TV anchors debated the Maple Heights scandal. Commentators called it the system that eats its own kids. There were interviews, podcasts, exposés, and one name kept slipping through the cracks until Jasmine dropped it like a bomb: Danica Reyes. She posted it in a single tweet with 4 chilling words. "Where is Danica now?" That's when everything changed. The day after her tweet, Jasmine's mum didn't go to work. She was on the couch, eyes fixed on the screen, watching Danica's name flash across the news. "I remember this girl," she whispered. "There was a flyer. She went missing." Jasmine nodded slowly. 14. She tried to report them. Her mom turned, finally seeing Jasmine clearly for the first time since everything began. Her voice trembled. "You're not just fighting for yourself, are you?" "No," Jasmine said. "I'm fighting for every girl they tried to erase." Her mom reached out. "Tell me everything." Meanwhile, Chelsea's world was collapsing. Students who once worshipped her avoided her in the halls. Her phone blew up with messages, angry, panicked, accusatory. Even Tara and Kenzie were turning cold. "I told you to delete that list," Tara snapped in the group chat. Chelsea typed back, "I did. Someone must have saved it." Kenzie left the chat just like that, and for the first time in her life, Chelsea panicked. Not the usual, "Ugh, my lashes aren't even" panic. Real panic. The kind that makes your stomach twist and your hands shake. Because if Jasmine found out the truth about Danica, she was finished. Jasmine wasn't just sitting back and watching. She was digging harder than ever. She spent hours at the public library, combing through old news articles. The deeper she searched, the more things didn't add up. Danica was last seen in the Maple Heights music wing. Security footage malfunctioned that day. Her file was marked unresolved, yet no search was ever launched. Then Jasmine found something in an old PDF scan from a now-deleted local paper. A candlelight vigil was held last night for missing student Danica Reyes. Her best friend, Shelby Matthews, tearfully pleaded. Danica tried to speak up. "She told me everything." Shelby Matthews. There it was, a new name, a possible witness. It took Jasmine 3 hours and a burner Reddit post to find Shelby. She was now 21, studying psychology at a community college 2 cities away. Jasmine messaged, "Hi, I'm sorry to bring this up, but I need to know what really happened to Danica, please. I think the same girls are hurting others." No reply. Then, 4 hours later, "I've been waiting years for someone to ask. Meet me tomorrow, noon, at the public park on 3rd and Lawson." Shelby looked nothing like the teary-eyed girl from the old photo. Now she was sharp, fierce-eyed, with a shaved head and tattooed wrists. She barely said hello before diving in. "Danica was the bravest person I've ever met," she said. She told the counselor that Chelsea and her crew were blackmailing girls into silence. Jasmine's heart slammed in her chest. Blackmailing them how? Shelby looked down. Photos, videos, some taken at parties when the girls were passed out. Chelsea would collect dirt and then destroy anyone who crossed her. She had dirt on Danica? Shelby nodded. But Danica didn't care. She still reported it. Then what happened? Shelby's eyes darkened. She went to school on a Friday. After that, she just never came home. The school said she ran away. Do you believe that? No! I think Chelsea made sure she couldn't talk. Jasmine shivered. There it was, the worst possibility. Murder. Jasmine and Miss Taylor met in secret that night, in the same dusty basement. Archive where it all began. "She's dangerous," Miss Taylor whispered, scrolling through files. "If she's done what we suspect, she has people helping her." "You mean staff? Maybe even higher?" Jasmine took a deep breath. "What if we can prove Danica didn't run away? What if we can tie Chelsea to it?" Miss Taylor looked at her. "Then she'll fall, but you'll be in danger." Jasmine stared at the folder in her lap. Inside it, a photo of Danica, smiling, alive and full of light. "I'm already in danger." 2 nights later, someone tried to break into Jasmine's house. The kitchen window was shattered. A shadow moved fast in the dark. Her mum screamed. Jasmine rushed out of her room holding the baseball bat her dad once gave her, but by the time police arrived, the intruder was gone. All they found was a note taped to her mirror. "Stop digging, or get buried next." Miss Taylor begged her to stop. "This is bigger than you," she said. "Let the journalists handle it." "No," Jasmine said. "They tried to scare me. That means I'm close." So she did the unthinkable. She went to Chelsea. She found her in the school parking lot, crying alone in her car. The Queen Bee had finally cracked. Jasmine walked up slowly and knocked on the window. Chelsea jumped. Her eyes were swollen, her lashes half missing, makeup smeared. "What the hell do you want?" "Answers," Chelsea laughed bitterly. "You think I'm just going to spill everything to you?" "No," Jasmine said, "but you will when I tell you what I know." She leaned down, eye level with her former tormentor. "I know about the blackmail. I know about Danica, and I know you're not as untouchable as you think." For one split second, Chelsea's mask slipped, a flicker of fear and guilt. "You don't know anything," she hissed. "You think this is just about high school games. What else is it about?" Chelsea turned her head away. "There are people you don't even know about. Adults, alumni, people who donated to this school. Danica found out. That's why she disappeared." "Are you saying the school covered it up?" Chelsea went quiet. That silence told Jasmine everything. She needed to hear. Cliffhanger that night. Jasmine received an anonymous message, a single sentence. "She's not dead." Attached, a blurry image. A girl sitting on a bench in a remote-looking park, face obscured by shadows. But Jasmine knew it was Danica. Alive. Somewhere. Hidden. And if she could find her, everything would change. The girl they tried to erase. The photo haunted Jasmine all night. A girl on a bench, shoulders hunched, head bowed. The image was grainy and distant, but Jasmine's instincts screamed it. Danica was alive. But who sent the photo? There was no name, no number, just a burner email. The subject line read, "Find her before they do." Jasmine barely slept. Her mind raced with questions. Where is she? Who's hiding her? Why hasn't she come forward? And the most terrifying one, who else knows she's alive? She showed the photo to Miss Taylor the next morning. Miss Taylor's hand trembled as she zoomed in. My God, it really might be her. Jasmine nodded. "Someone doesn't want her found," Miss Taylor whispered, "which means we have to find her first." They sprang into action. Jasmine posted the photo anonymously in a true crime forum, asking for location tips. Miss Taylor called in a favor from a former journalist friend who worked in missing persons cases. They cross-referenced park benches, surrounding trees, even distant buildings in the background, and by midnight, they had a lead. Rosemont County, 83 miles away. Jasmine's mom didn't try to stop her this time. She just stood in the kitchen doorway, holding out the car keys. "I'm coming with you," she said. "No arguments." Jasmine wrapped her arms around her. For the first time in weeks, she felt like she had a real family again. They arrived at the Rosemont Town Park just after noon. It was quiet, sleepy, the kind of place where life moved in slow motion. Jasmine scanned every bench. Nothing, but just as she was about to give up, she saw her, a girl with short, uneven hair. Layers of old clothes, sitting near the pond, feeding ducks with trembling hands. Jasmine's heart almost stopped. She walked forward, slowly. "Danica." The girl froze. Then she turned, and Jasmine's breath caught. It was her. Danica stood, backing away like a cornered animal. "Don't come near me!" "Wait, I'm not here to hurt you, I swear. I'm Jasmine from Maple Heights." Danica blinked, confused. Her voice cracked. "You're one of them?" "No, I was, but not anymore. I'm the one who exposed the list. I know what they did. To you." Danica's eyes widened. "You do?" "I need your help," Jasmine said softly. "We all do. They're still hurting people, and they told the world you ran away. But you're not lost. You're still here, and your voice matters." Danika's lip trembled, and then, after a long silence, she broke. They sat together for over an hour. Danika's story spilled out in pieces, each more gut-wrenching than the last. She'd been 14 when she reported Chelsea and her friends. She had evidence, screenshots, photos, names. She brought it to the school counselor, Miss Carter, but instead of helping, Miss Carter handed it off to the principal, who buried it. 2 days later, Danica was ambushed behind the gym by 3 girls in black hoodies. One of them wore Chelsea's perfume. They threatened her, told her to disappear or they'd finish what they started. Terrified, Danica packed a bag and ran. She was taken in by an old woman who'd seen her missing poster and recognized fear in her eyes. They'd lived off the grid ever since. Her name was Edna, Danica whispered. She died last winter. I've been alone ever since. Jasmine reached for her hand. You're not alone anymore. Miss Taylor met them at a diner on the edge of town. She cried when she saw Danica walk in. The two embraced like long-lost family. Danica had kept the flash drive she once tried to turn in, still hidden in a hollowed-out library book. On it, dozens of incriminating files, photos of Chelsea's circle intoxicated at unsupervised school events, video clips of teachers laughing with drunk students, a spreadsheet of clean girls versus used-up girls, organized by GPA and looks, and, in one dark file, an audio recording. Jasmine clicked play. It was crackly, recorded from inside a locker, but the voices were unmistakable. Chelsea. She thinks she can expose us. She has no idea who she's messing with. Tara. Should we send the guys again? Chelsea. No, this time we scare her so bad she runs forever. If she talks, we ruin her, and if she still talks, someone makes her disappear. Laughter. Then the chilling sound of a locker slamming. Miss Taylor looked sick. This is it, she said. This is what they didn't want anyone to hear. Jasmine's hands shook. It's time the world hears it. They contacted the same investigative journalist who'd been digging into Maple Heights. Since Jasmine's first leak, this time they sent everything. The photo, the flash drive, Danica's statement, the audio. The journalist went live with it the next morning. Her headline, Missing Girl Found, and she has proof of a massive cover-up at Maple Heights. The explosion was instant. TV crews swarmed. Danica's old school, Chelsea's house, was vandalized that night. Police opened an official investigation, and this time, the school couldn't bury it. The principal resigned. Miss Carter took medical leave. Tara deleted all her social media and vanished from campus. Kenzie lawyered up. And Chelsea, she showed up at school one last time and was met by a wall of silence. No one spoke to her. No one looked her in the eye. Even the teachers ignored her. Jasmine watched from a distance. Chelsea's power had crumbled, not in fire and fury, but in the quiet erosion of everything she thought made her special. 3 days later, Chelsea was arrested, charged with multiple counts of intimidation, blackmail, and conspiracy to obstruct a police investigation. She was led out in handcuffs while students filmed on their phones. And Jasmine, she stood outside the front doors holding Danica's hand. Cliffhanger later that night, as Jasmine and Danica sat watching the news, a reporter mentioned something strange. The anonymous tip that located Danica Reyes appears to have come from inside the school, possibly a former friend of the accused. Danica turned slowly. Someone in Chelsea's circle turned on her. Jasmine's eyes narrowed. Then we're not done yet. The truth that burned everything down. The courtroom was cold, not the temperature, the energy. People filled every bench. Reporters, parents, students. Some came to gawk, others came for justice. But for Jasmine and Danica, it wasn't about the crowd. It was about the reckoning. Chelsea, in her crisp blazer and polished hair, looked like she still believed she could charm her way out of this. She wore a faint smile, as if the last few weeks had been a misunderstanding, not an unraveling. But that smile faded when Danica stood to testify. Her voice didn't tremble. Not once. Danica recounted every moment, every threat, every time she tried to be heard and was silenced. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just told the truth, and in that truth was more power than any scream. Then came the flash drive. The audio clip played, echoing across the courtroom. Chelsea's voice, clear and venomous. If she talks, we ruin her. And if she still talks, someone makes her disappear. Silence. Even Chelsea's lawyer looked stunned. The judge adjourned for deliberation. But no one needed the verdict to know what had just happened. Chelsea Munro was finished. A week later, the judgment came. Chelsea, guilty of criminal conspiracy, intimidation, and tampering with a witness. Sentenced to 2 years in a youth correctional facility with mandatory counseling and community service. Tara and Kenzie took plea deals, forced to confess and testify publicly. Their social lives shattered. Their college offers revoked. Miss Carter and the principal were charged with willful negligence in a case involving a minor. Their licenses revoked permanently. And Maple Heights, the school board ordered a full leadership restructure, a whistleblower hotline, trauma counselors for past victims, a memorial wall dedicated to every student who'd ever been bullied in. Silence. But the headlines weren't what healed Jasmine. It was what came after. Jasmine and Danica were invited to speak at schools across the state. Not as victims, but survivors, fighters, truth-tellers. Danica's story reached over 2 million views online. She started a blog for teens in hiding. The Silent Ones Speak. Letters poured in from South Africa, Canada, England, Australia. I thought I was the only one. Because of you, I reported what happened. I'm not ashamed anymore. One night, Jasmine read one that made her hand go still. You don't know me. But I was in Chelsea's circle. I kept quiet because I was scared. I was the one who sent the photo. I just couldn't keep protecting her. It was unsigned. Danica read it and nodded slowly. She wasn't alone in her cruelty, but she was also never safe from the truth. Graduation came. For the first time. In years, Jasmine stood tall in her cap and gown. No whispers, no stares, just claps and cheers. Miss Taylor gave the closing speech. Her eyes found Jasmine and Danica in the crowd. We tell our students to be brave, but we forget that sometimes the bravest thing isn't raising your hand, it's raising your voice. These girls didn't just speak, they changed everything. The auditorium rose in a standing ovation. Danica wept silently. Jasmine held her hand. That summer, Jasmine took a break from everything. School, social media, interviews. She went hiking with her mom, learned to cook, sat in silence without, her thoughts clawing at her, and one evening she found a letter tucked in her old locker at school. Jasmine, you didn't just save Danica. You saved me. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I hope one day I can earn it, a former monster. She stared at the words, and for the first time she didn't feel hate, just a strange, quiet release. Danica started college that fall, creative writing, with a minor in psychology. Jasmine went into journalism. They promised to check in once a week, no matter how busy life got. They called it Survivor Sundays, and every Sunday, without fail, they reminded each other, you were never too broken to matter. You were just waiting to rise. Final scene. 3 years later, Jasmine stands on a TEDx stage. She's older now, confident, her voice steady. Behind her, the screen reads, "The girl they tried to erase, but couldn't." She looks out at the crowd. I was bullied, lied to, silenced, but I'm still here because someone once told me they can break your name, your body, your hope, but they can never erase your truth. And the truth? It will always find a way to burn through the dark. The end.